Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be going through another tier list. These videos have been doing super well. They're super fun for me to make, and you guys really seem to be enjoying them as well. We always get a ton of awesome discussion in the comment section and all that good stuff. Today we're going to be going through the best bot lanes in the LCS, ranking every single bot lane from 1 to 10, S tier to F tier. We're going to be going through all of that. Obviously, we did the AD carry separate, we did the support separate, but then can't remember if somebody commented or if I was just thinking about ideas. I think somebody said we should do bot lanes, and I thought that was a great idea, so we're going to do it because, I mean, really the bot lane pairing is something that is so integral to success in League of Legends, and it seemed like an interesting idea to me. And just because the AD carry is good or the support's good doesn't mean the bot lane is going to be good overall, so I do think it is, in a way, a really different list, so I think this will be fun to do. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick a word from today's sponsor, which is Draft Buff. This is a fantasy esports website and app. You can play fantasy leagues for your favorite esports starting right now. You can play now on the browser, in the App Store, on Google Play. Challenge the community with unique fantasy games, and we're happy to announce that Draft Royale is now live. It's this awesome new mode where you have a budget and you got to just pick players that are all given different salary amounts to fit under your budget and then compete with your roster against everybody else's. It's a ton of fun, and you can check out my league, my Draft Royale, in the description below. Definitely get signed up, join my league. I would appreciate a ton. So would Draft Buff. Shout out to them. With that being said, here we go, talking about the best LCS bot lanes, ranking them top to bottom. First up, we got 100 Thieves. To me, this is an A tier bot lane. I'm actually going to change the color of this. We're going to go with this light blue. It usually seems to work. It's not the prettiest, but it usually makes all the different logo colors stand out and stuff because there's a lot of black, a lot of white in logo, so it's hard to find a good color. But anyway, 100 Thieves I have as an A tier bot lane. I think most of you guys know at this point I'm really high on FBI. Also, first of all, 100 Thieves just announced their new jerseys today, or maybe it'll be yesterday by the time this video goes out. The jerseys look so sick. I kind of want to order one, but there's not really a player on 100 Thieves that I'm really excited about long term, and I like to get jerseys for players that I'm going to like for a long time. So I'm considering about ordering one, maybe getting an FBI one, I don't know, but they are pretty sick. Anyway, 100 Thieves bot lane, FBI, as you guys know, I'm pretty high on him. I'm really excited for him. He obviously dismantled TSM's bot lane in the playoffs last year, made Doublelift just look like a chump, and was part of probably the decline of Doublelift in the public opinion. I mean, he just looked so bad in that series, and it was after the series where Doublelift admitted just how well FBI played. It was kind of the first time we really saw like humble Doublelift in like an interview like that, and it was really crazy to see, and it was just kind of further cementing the fact that Doublelift was kind of on the way down, and some of these younger guys, Johnson, Tactical, FBI, they're on the way up, and FBI is for sure an absolute beast, but obviously his bot lane partner is who a lot of people are still not convinced about. I think he is solid. I think he's been improving, but it will be interesting to see if he can continue to improve. If he can take another big step up this year, he could be really great, and this bot lane could be very scary, and they could perhaps be one of the best in the LCS. But if he does stagnate, if he just kind of stays at the same level, feeling like it's a little bit better, or perhaps even gets worse, because that is definitely possible. Not everybody necessarily gets better year over year. Some people get better, some people get worse. So that is possible. But yeah, he's going to continue to learn how to be a support, obviously learn all the champions, just the playstyle, all that stuff. So I think there's room for continual improvement, but in the end, I think this bot lane is hard carried by FBI. I do think he's very exciting. I do think he's great, but since he's kind of a question mark for me and a lot of people going into the season, I think it's hard to put them much higher than A tier, but I do have them very solidly in the A tier. Next up, we have Cloud9. You know what you're getting here. This is Sven and Vulcan. They're an easy S tier for me. They're just one of the best bot lanes in the LCS. They're very consistent. They won the title in the spring split. People were saying perhaps they were playing on the most dominant LCS team of all time. I think the truth is more that the LCS was very weak last season. Cloud9 was a very good team, but no, I do not think the 2020 Cloud9 team is one of the best teams all time. Maybe most dominant just in terms of record and stuff, but I do not think they're better than some of the Team Liquid teams, some of the TSM teams. I don't believe that at all. And then, we did see their eventual decline, obviously, in the summer, even when our teams still were not that good, as we saw by the fact that none of our teams even made it out of groups at Worlds. TSM went 0-6 as the 1 seed. The LCS had so many problems last year, and Cloud9, I just think was maybe a little bit overrated, but the bot lane is still very good. They're very consistent. They're one of the strong points of the team, and they did kind of taper off at the end of summer last year, but I think they're going to come back strong this season. Sven is one of the best AD carries. Vulcan is one of the best supports. Put them together. They have, pretty good synergy together. They've been playing together. They shouldn't have any issues with hitting the ground running right at the beginning of the season, while a lot of other teams and bot lanes and stuff are kind of shaking up and shaking around. Cloud9 is going to be ready to go. Their team got upgraded overall, obviously bringing in perks, having Mithy as a coach now too, which should work really, really well. I think Cloud9 has a lot to be excited about, and I think the bot lane is a huge part of it. They're an easy S tier for me, but there is some question marks, obviously, just with how things ended for them last season, but I think they should be just fine. Next up, we have CLG. This is going to be Wild Turtle and Smoothie. Now, I'm pretty excited about Wild Turtle. I don't think he is amazing. He didn't have the best year last year. He played on FlyQuest, who made it to both LCS finals. They made it to Worlds. They did fine at Worlds, not bad. But Wild Turtle was not really like a shining point for this team. He was not bad. He was very, very solid. But I don't know. It is weird. He wasn't great. His team did very well. His record was good. He was solid, but he was not amazing. He was not a standout or anything like that. And now he's going to probably a much worse team in CLG. FlyQuest made it to 2 finals last year. I don't think CLG will be making it to any finals. CLG might not even be making the playoffs. So I think that's going to be tough for Wild Turtle to kind of stand out. He's also going from Ignar to Smoothie, which I would consider a very, 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 very big downgrade. And then again, the other part of this duo is Smoothie. Yes, he is getting an upgrade in the AD carry from Stixxay to Wild Turtle, so perhaps he'll start to look a little bit better, but I do think Smoothie is one of the weaker supports in the entire LCS, so it's tough for me to rate this bot lane too high. I am excited for CLG to get Wild Turtle. I do think it's an upgrade for them. I think CLG can make some strides to become a little bit better this year, but I don't think their bot lane will be that big of a part of it. I still have them as a C tier. That logo kind of blends into the background, but not too much. I think it should be okay. Next up, we have Dignitas. This is Neo, formerly Asta, in the AD carry position. This is a guy that I'm not very excited for. I think when we've seen him in the LCS prior, I haven't seen too much that got me very excited about him. Yes, some people don't do very well, but then they continue to develop and practice and improve, and they can come back stronger. But if that happens, I would just be very, very surprised. I think he could perhaps be the worst AD carry in the LCS this season. And then obviously the other half of this is Aframu, who he did have a better year last year than he did in 2019. I will give that to him. At the end of 2019, I was saying he should retire. He's done. He looked awful. But in 2020, he did look better. Not good, but better. So there was some improvement. He did show some signs of life, and that's good. That's exciting. Historically, he's been a fun player to watch, but obviously he's at the end of his career. And the Dignitas team isn't going to be that good. He's going to have a tough time laning with probably not the best AD carry. He still shows glimpses of being that kind of big playmaker guy, but they're just much fewer and far between than they once were. So it's tough for me to rate them too high. I am going to put them as F tier. I think they have a chance to be the worst bot lane in the LCS. But that's just my opinion. Again, there's going to be a couple options that are going to be pretty close, and really anything can happen. But they are my pick for most likely the worst bot lane in the LCS. Next up, we have Evil Geniuses. This is Deathly and Ignar. Now, I'm pretty low on Deathly. I think he's going to be one of the weaker AD carries in the LCS. Some people say I'm sleeping on him. Some people say I'm wrong. But, I mean, that's just how I feel. I'm not that excited about him. I was kind of surprised that they went with him. I think there was maybe some better options out there. But, Evil Geniuses see something in him. Maybe I should have some more faith in Evil Geniuses and the coaching staff, because obviously they've been doing a pretty good job. They put together a pretty strong roster, and they also made a big splash in the support position with the pickup of Ignar, who I am actually a pretty big fan of. So as not excited as I am for Deathly, I am that much more excited for Ignar, and I think Ignar is a guy who can make a lot of plays happen all around the map, whether or not his AD carry is doing well, whether or not his AD carry is a strong player or whatever. So I think they have a chance to still be pretty solid, honestly, and this has me putting Evil Geniuses pretty solidly in the B tier as a bot lane, because I still think that Ignar will have a ton of opportunities to make plays, and I think he can make enough plays to maybe even make Deathly look a little bit better than he is, and even if Deathly's having a bad game, a bad week, a bad season, even if he just ends up to not be that good, Ignar should still be able to make enough plays around the map, and that should be exciting to watch, and that should have them pretty solid. Next up, we have the bot lane of Johnson and Diamond. Now, Johnson, obviously a younger AD carry. This is formerly the guy from TSM Academy. He was with Dignitas last year, had an amazing year. Really starting to surprise people just how good he's getting so fast. I mean, he was always hyped up in Academy and stuff. People were really excited for him to get to the LCS, but I think most people were surprised by how good he was able to do so soon. And he's been an absolute beast. People really have him as one of the higher ranked AD carries in the LCS, which is crazy. He's been able to develop so much so fast, and now he's paired up with Diamond in the bot lane, who Diamond, to be fair, he is a big question mark. We don't know exactly how he's going to be, but he was perhaps the best support in Academy last season. Obviously, some people would say Treats, but Diamond is right there with Treats, and in some people's books, even better. He is very hyped up, very exciting, and just the thought of these two young players who have so much talent and promise coming together could create something so special. I'm really high on Johnson. I'm not as high on Diamond, but I think I could see Diamond becoming pretty good. Also, I don't think the supports in NA are that strong overall, so I don't think Diamond has to do that well to necessarily even start climbing up the ranks pretty quickly. This has FlyQuest as like a low A tier bot lane for me. The S tier is kind of the really solid guys who are going to be the best in the league. I don't have very many questions about them. A tier, I see a lot of promise and a lot of potential, but I maybe have a little bit of questions. 100 Thieves, I have questions about Huhi, FlyQuest, I have questions about Diamond, how's that going to work out, and then the tiers just kind of go down from there. You could even move all these down one tier, because I really think the S tier is the very solid bot lanes in NA, and then I think there is a significant drop off from the S tier to the A tier, but I don't just want to have like a blank tier, so we're just bumping everything up to A. Next up, we got Golden Guardians. This is Stixay coming over from CLG, obviously long-time CLG member, had a very interesting run with them. He had some super high highs, LCS title, MSI appearances, going to Worlds. He's had some lows. CLG's been one of the worst, if not the worst team in the league at points with Stixay, and he's gone everywhere from being a top 2 or 3 AD carry in the LCS to being a bottom 2 or 3 AD carry in the LCS. Super weird. Again, I don't think laning with Smoothie recently was doing him any favors. I'm not really high on Smoothie. I think he can make you look kind of worse than maybe you are. But Stixay obviously has to be blamed for some of his play as well. He's been very inconsistent, and he maybe is not as good as he once was. But that doesn't mean he can't get back to that. He's going to be paired up with Newbie, who is a Latin American player coming over. It's going to be really interesting to see how he does. He's a big question mark for me. He could be amazing. He could be a beast. It looks like he's put up, amazing numbers. It looks like he's had amazing performances in the Latin American League. But you never know how well that's going to translate to the LCS. And again, big questions about Stixay, big questions about Newbie. There is intrigue there. The ceiling is high. They could pop off, but I don't know. I see it as kind of unlikely. I have them as a C tier team, but to me, they're a bot lane to watch out for. They could kind of surprise people in my eyes this season, but they could flop as well. They could end up being the worst. It's all possible. Next up, we have Immortals. This is Raze and Destiny, the double Osh bot lane. Honestly, I saw Destiny a little bit in the LEC. He looked pretty solid from the games I've seen. I know people in the LEC kind of shit on him, but I think they're underrating him a little bit. I don't think he's too terrible. I don't know that much about Raze. I know he's played on some good OPL teams before, and he's had some good performances. Obviously, he's played well enough to work his way into the LCS, but I don't know how well they're going to do together. To me, they're just kind of like a middle-of-the-pack C-tier bot lane. I don't really see them being better than any of the teams above them, but they could surprise me as well. Obviously, I wouldn't have ever told you that FBI was going to be as good as he is now, so maybe some OPL talent will surprise us, but I mean, we've seen enough of Destiny in the higher league to know that he's not terrible, but he's not going to be like a major playmaker either, unless he shows some serious development over in the LCS, which most people don't usually do, obviously. Next up, we have Team Liquid. They are an easy S tier for me, and they are my pick for probably the best bot lane in the LCS. Corey JJ, in my opinion, is going to be the second best player in the LCS, but you can make the argument that he's going to be the best player. I have Perks as probably the single best player in the LCS, but Corey JJ is right there with him. Two absolute world-class players. Corey JJ is an absolute beast, reigning MVP, just so integral to the success of Team Liquid. His leadership, his playmaking, his champ pool, everything. He is great. He can really do it all, and he's just been an example of what every import should hope to be when coming to NA, and what every team should hope to be looking for in an import. He's been absolutely amazing, and then Tactical has just been awesome as a young up-and-coming player. Obviously, part of that has to be in thanks to Core JJ, obviously hyping him up, building him up, coaching him, teaching him, playing alongside him, but he's doing the stuff himself too. He looked great in the LCS. He looked pretty good at Worlds too. I'm really excited for him this season, and I'm I'm really just overall pretty excited for the whole Team Liquid team. I think their roster looks absolutely stacked, and the bot lane is no different. Finally, we have TSM, who I'm going to be placing here in the middle of the A tier. Now, I'm very, very hyped up for Sword Art. I think this is a big pickup. Obviously, TSM went and spent the big bucks on the guy who just got done playing in the World Finals. Yes, he was probably one of the weaker, if not the weakest member on Suning Gaming. He wasn't necessarily the best support in the LPL, but he's a big playmaker. He's a guy who can be very, very good, but also they're really hoping his shot calling and communication can kind of show TSM how to be like a solid team. And I think that would be very, very exciting. I've heard Sword Art say he wants to help TSM try and learn that LPL style of craziness, big playmaking, all that stuff. And yes, while maybe he didn't look super great at times during Worlds, the LCS is not Worlds. You know, we need to get it under control. The LCS was not very good last year, and I think he should be very, very solid. And I think people are kind of underrating him a little bit, honestly, as crazy as that sounds, a guy who just got a $3 million contract. The big question mark here, obviously, is Lost. He is a really, really hyped up Academy player. He's perhaps the best AD carry in Academy last season. The guys who have came out of TSM Academy, Johnson and Tactical, they've made it to the LCS, and they've done pretty all right, but that doesn't mean TSM is going to go 3 for 3 necessarily. We've seen Lost a little bit on the big stage before. He hasn't looked amazing, but obviously that was a long time ago. He's had time to develop, and this is another case where now he's going to be paired up with Sword Art, which should help him hopefully improve even faster and be hopefully really, really good. But, yeah, this is it, guys. This is my list of the LCS bot lanes, all 10 bot lanes in the LCS ranked top to bottom. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like. It helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. I would appreciate it greatly. And I just want to know if you guys enjoyed this, because if you like it, we can do this for the LEC, we can do this for the West, we can do it for Korea, we can do it for China, we can go all over and give my thoughts and opinions on more and more just different things, because I think this is fun to do. Definitely leave a comment down below. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? What would you change? What does your tier list look like? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay updated on my latest content. Remember to check out Draft Buff. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!